Okay. Good morning, guys. Morning. Bull trap this morning? Yeah, we'll have to see, boy. We'll have to see. As we know, sometimes those pre-market moves are a little bit questionable, right? So we'll have to see. We'll have to just sort of watch our levels today. Get our levels down, see how it reacts at those. But definitely interesting. Today's that type of day where you got to really be on your toes because you got that upside in the pre-market, which can throw you off, right? Can make you a little bit more biased to a single direction. And then you can possibly see a totally different reaction at market open. We've seen that plenty of times, right? So, interesting stuff. Let's prepare for the day as usual. We'll go over the levels. We'll go over some economic news today, and sort of get an idea of what's going on. There is one key hold that we are seeing this morning. I'm sure you guys already know what it is, but we'll review it. There is a key hold that did come in the overnight session on the futures. That is the main reason as to why this is moving higher. The main reason why it's moving higher is because we held this level. So definitely, worth watching. So let's go ahead and continue. Let's do it. Let's start the day. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good morning. I've had to run to Starbucks the last 3 mornings because I do not have any Celsius in the house, and I need to go get that. So I have paid $4 for a triple shot of espresso over ice, blonde espresso over ice with vanilla cold foam. Very good. $4. All right, let's do it. So today is the 23rd. Vincent from Hong Kong. I think so. How you doing, man? Welcome back. Welcome from Hong Kong. Today's the 23rd, right? We're going to look at the futures, as always. We're going to do the economic earnings calendar, as always, and then we will look at a few of our individual names. But the first thing I want to pull up, guys, is the economic calendar. That is what I want to show everyone so we can get an idea of what's on the docket for today. So today is Thursday. Remember, it's a short week, right? So we're already at Thursday, which is pretty crazy. We have 8:30, right? We have our normal Thursday jobless claims. We always have that, right? That's normal. Here's where it gets a little interesting, right? 10 o'clock today, guys. 10 o'clock, we have Fed Chair Jerome Powell testifying at the monetary policy at the House Financial Services Committee. So interesting. So yesterday I think they're switching between the House and the Senate. If I understand this correctly, I really don't care where he's sitting or where it's going on. I just care what comes out of his mouth. But it looks like yesterday he was at the Senate. Today it looks like he's at the House. So Fed Chair Jerome Powell testifies on monetary policy at the House of Representatives. I believe that's what it is. I really don't care where it is, but I think that is what it is. 10 a.m. today. So let's watch out for that. That could be a little bit moving. I'm assuming he's going to say the same things. Yesterday, he did come out and say some pretty aggressive things. He definitely did. He came out and said that, what they're doing could cause recession. He came out and said that, things could get, that 1% is not out of the picture for the next federal funds rate increase. So he said he sort of put it on the table yesterday, it seems like. I think that's good, though, because they can't really be behind the bush sort of with this type of information. They have to sort of put out what they're thinking and be honest with the market, be honest with us. It seems as though he went sort of towards that direction yesterday. He said recession is possible. And he said that 1% Fed funds rate increase is possible as well. So they're not taking anything off the table. Whereas before, they were saying, the last not last FOMC, the one before that, he said, no, 0.75 is not something we're even thinking about. Whereas now he's saying 1% is possible, right? So you can sort of see the change in sort of the tone of his voice, which is interesting. So something to note, something that happened yesterday. We have to see what happens today. That's at 10 o'clock. And then, of course, jobless claims, which I really don't think will have much effect, but we'll keep an eye on it. So that's that. Earnings calendar, nothing much, guys. Earnings are going to start picking up again, though, soon. We're starting to get into it. What do we have today after hours? We have FedEx. So we have FedEx today after hours. That's really it. But it's going to start picking up again. We'll start getting into earnings season again soon, I believe. So let's continue. That's the economic earnings side of things. We're going to look at Tesla off a 700 retest. This is interesting. If the market is strong today, definitely want to watch this. Shopify approaching a very important 350 level. This Apple move is very crucial today, guys. This is what is going to either help the market higher or it's going to cause the market to stall. It's all going to be about, in my opinion, if Apple can get over this 138 level. If Apple breaks over 138 and really starts moving, this will absolutely drive the Nasdaq higher. If Apple rejects this 138 today, it's going to be weak. I think this is really, this is a very major watch here for the overall market, is what Apple does at this supply that it's hitting right now. So definitely need to watch Apple today. Whether you trade it or not, it could give you some insight as to if the market is going to stay strong. If Apple's strong today, Nasdaq is going to be dragged higher. Apple is a very large part of this. So Nvidia, big level to watch as well. AMD, potential bear flag if the market's weak. Microsoft and Amazon are both above their resistance points, but they're very slow. They're trying to break above these levels, but I'm going to show you guys why I really don't like these charts. They're very slow breaks, and they look a little bit questionable. So I want to watch that, show you guys this. Energy stayed weak again yesterday. Didn't quite get a good pop yesterday. I think it looked like it was trying, and then it sort of failed. And then XLV has been a very hot sector to the start of this week through Tuesday and Wednesday. The first 2 days of this week, the healthcare sector has been hot. So you had AbbVie and UNH running pretty rampant. And then you have the XLV running up pretty nicely as well. Congratulations. I know some of you guys caught this UNH move. But it's hitting resistance. So watch out for this on the XLV. XLV has pushed right back into a previous resistance point. So you got to watch out if you're in any trades for the healthcare sector. Watch out for this level. I'll share it with you guys today. After that, we'll look at your tickers and we'll get ready for the day. So drastic times calls for drastic measures. Totally agree, Matt. All right, let's do it. Nasdaq. What is happening this morning? Why is this market pushing higher this morning? I'm going to show you why. It's right here. You guys know we talked about that middle of the seesaw, right? That was my analogy. The middle of the seesaw level on the Nasdaq and on the ES. And for me, it was 11.5. So we were coming into this week. We were saying that we have that upside supply around 10.8. We have the downside support around 11.3, 11,000. And we have that middle of the road level that's going to give us some type of insight as to where this market may move. And that was 11.5 for me, right? And I said that if the market can try to hold 11.5 this week, there could be some opportunity to the upside. There might be some movement to the upside if we can hold on to 11.5. So this overnight last night from yesterday into today, we did something interesting. I'm not saying that this is bullish because we can still see what's happening right now. I mean, as we're speaking, we're getting a rejection off this supply here at 11.7. But this is interesting, and it's right here, guys. This 11.5 hold is something that I am interested in. I want to see what happens here because this is not a bad little double bottom little hold at a major level here at 11.5. So this is going to be a watch for me. Does this hold create somewhat of a lower or a higher low, right? Is this a higher low here? That's what I'm watching. Is this the beginning of a higher low, or is just a bull trap this morning and we fall right back under? Very possible. Both scenarios are 100% possible. So I am not saying that one or the other is going to happen, but we need to at least recognize the fact that this 11.5 is trying. All right, so we need to recognize that. It is trying to hold this 11.5. So watch that. That's the major level that I've been talking about all week, and you can see the reaction that occurred here last night. So 11.5 is your new level to watch. If you break 11.5, guys, if you do this, then you know, right? You know we're coming down. If we continue to hold it, then I would say the opportunity could still continue to be to the upside. If we continue to hold this 11.5, then you might continue to see these pops off this level. So 11.5, that's the level. That's why this title says key levels holding. The key level for the Nasdaq is 11.5 right now. So with that said, I want to show you the upside resistance now, though, because just because we're holding 11.5 does not mean that we are getting through this supply at 11.7, and it does not mean that we are going to get through this supply at 11.8. So that's why today's a little dangerous, because you see this upside, right? Maybe you think you're going to get through here, but there's just no guarantees, right? So we got to see what the price action is at open. We just got to watch our levels. We got to watch yesterday's highs of around 11.7, 11.720. You can see it right here, starting to reject as we speak. We got to watch 11.8. That's another supply that we have to watch out for. And then we have to watch 11.5. Is there an opportunity this morning to play this short off of a little double top from yesterday's highs? Yeah, possibly, right? Could we possibly play this back down to 11.5 at open? That's a possibility. Could the market hold up and try to push through yesterday's highs? That's a possibility as well. So it's an interesting morning because you have that upside in the pre-market, which I don't typically like to trust. I don't trust pre-market moves. But it is interesting to see where we held up, right? So 11.5, 11.7, 11.8. Those are my three levels here today, guys. Do we break yesterday's highs? If we do we push towards that 11.8? If we reject here, right? If we push up and reject, do we move back towards that low? That is what I am watching today. Just know that if we give up 11.5 in the future, this week, next week, the week after, when we give up 11.5, if we start to see this week under 11.5, then we're probably going to see continuation to the downside. So that is your key level now, in my opinion. Because the market is trying to put in a higher low, right? If it loses it, probably going to lose that momentum. All right. That's the Nasdaq. Here's the ES. It's the same thing. ES, you guys know we were talking about that seesaw level. Seesaw level for me, the middle of the seesaw, that was 37.35. You guys remember that? 37.30. Yeah, you have the trend line too on the Nasdaq, Dad G. I see it too. Yeah, it's on the Nasdaq as well. Right. I had it there. But I don't know. I'm not really going to trade off this trend line. But I mean, yeah, watch it. Right. If we lose 11.5 and the trend line, right, then yeah, you're probably going to get that continuation. Could just be a huge bear flag. So the trend line is there. I'm more worried about this 11.5, but yes, that is possible. The trend line break, bear flag, very possible. This could be a huge bear flag. All right? Just got to watch it. Just got to watch our key levels. I'm more focused on the supply and demand than the trend line, but I will monitor the trend line as well. My TOS is fast because it is ran off of a Java. I don't know if you guys are familiar. This is a lot to explain, but I'll do it real quick. TOS is not built to run off Macs. The M1 chip on Macs, it's not running. I don't know how to explain it technically, but there is a way to run. There's a way to run TOS solely off JavaScript. I believe that's how it's sort of explained, and it's extremely quick. Look it up on Google. Look it up on YouTube. There's a video on how to do it. You have to do some tinkering with your computer. But it is night and day difference if you're running it off Java on TOS. It changed my life. It really did. So if you're on Mac and your TOS lags, you have to do this. So shout out to, I forgot who it was, but someone in the chat let us all know about this, and it's night and day. The way I have to actually open, I have to open my TOS by using this thing over here. This what is this? This is using the terminal. It's very interesting. Very tech, very like supercomputer looking type stuff. But it is much better. All right, let's continue. ES. So ES, same thing, middle of the road seesaw level, that 37.35, right? That was the level we were talking about, right? I have all these red arrows here. Red arrow here, red arrow here, again here, one here, right? That was the level that I've been watching, the 37.35 area. And you can see that overnight, look at what this ES did. Look at what the ES did overnight. Look at this hold at 37.35. So this is interesting, right? We can't ignore this. We're holding the 37.35 very nicely. We are turning that previous support into support once again, and we are holding the 37.35. So that is, that's why I titled this video what I did. This is a pretty key level that looks like it's trying to attempt to hold here. So we need to monitor that. That's definitely, oh yeah, that was Gaza. Shout out to you, Gaza. That is definitely something to monitor here. 37.35. So the same thing applies here for the ES, guys, right? We have the 3,800 supply right up here. 3,800 supply that we're starting to reject. We have the 37.35 support. So do we reject off this high? Right? Do we reject off that high today? Or are we able to get through it? If we're able to get through it, I think you push towards the FOMC highs. If you reject off of it, you're probably moving back down to that 37.35. So I go back to the hourly chart. Here's what I'm looking at. If you can break yesterday's highs on the ES, I would say you could probably see a little move into this previous high right up here, right? A little bit of a push into this 38.35. If you're able to do a little break and retest bounce into that level, or you open up at supply and you reject off of it. Those are pretty much your two scenarios, I think, today. You're either rejecting supply from yesterday's highs, moving back lower, or turning yesterday's highs into support on the ES. That is what I would be watching right there. So 3,800 on the ES, 37.35 to the downside, and then 38.35, 38.40 to the upside. Very interesting today. You can see it the exact same thing as the Nasdaq, right? Exact same thing. Okay. YM. So YM similar, right? We're right at that supply, and everything's the same. It's crazy. Look at this. So you're holding that middle of the seesaw level that I continue to talk about right here, right here. Previous lows, resistance, turning back into support. Look at where it held overnight. You can see right here. That's very nice hold overnight at that level. Back to the hourly. Where are we starting to see a supply rejection come in? Right at yesterday's highs, right? So, same exact thing. Do we get over yesterday's highs? Do we push towards the Wednesday FOMC highs? Or do we reject here? Same exact thing. Russell, same exact thing as well. You guys can see the Russell is pushing into supply. Does it break through the supply, or do we get the rejection? Right? Same exact thing on the Russell as well. Do we triple top here? Right here. Top, 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 which was previous support from here and here. Do we reject here? Do we triple top? Or do we get the break? Do we get the hold? And do we get the move into the Wednesday high? Wednesday high on the Russell is up here at 1740. So which one do we get? That is what I'll be watching today. You can't try to predict this. You have to wait to see what the market shows you. If the market breaks through, if it starts to hold this 1700 area, then you can probably see that continuation. If the market rejects early morning, then you're probably going to see that downside. So to review the futures here, guys, almost everything is the same. Almost every futures contract is in the same scenario. It's moving up into yesterday's highs in a pre-market move off of low volume. Do you trust it, or do you see a rejection today? That is what you're watching. You need to watch yesterday's highs across the board on everything. Do we get above yesterday's highs? Do we hold it as support? If we hold yesterday's highs as support, that should be your entry long, in my opinion. If we see a strong hold of yesterday's highs, that could be your reason to enter to the long side. If you do not see a hold of yesterday's highs, then I would assume that you're going to sort of consolidate and slightly move lower today if you can't break over yesterday's highs. All right? So that's my feeling on the market. Of course, I post this analysis every single morning in the Discord chat for free. Just the technicals of the futures. That is the chart Discord. That is down below. It says free technicals. That is no talking, no conversations, just the technicals that I post here on the live stream. If you want to see them in a text format, you can check that out down below. All right. Tesla. So, Tesla's, it's not bad. It's not bad here. Here's what I'll say about Tesla. So, I like the 700 retest. Let me go ahead and zoom out here, get a little bit more time for us to look at this chart. If TOS would let me zoom in, here we go. Okay. I like the 700 hold on Tesla for now. And this doesn't mean to me that we're going to move higher, but you can see for now you're getting this supply zone between 700 and 705 in this general area that is holding once again in the after hours into the pre-market today. You can see that we came back down after a big push yesterday, moved back to the downside, and you can see that we moved back off that 700 retest. Is this something that I trust to continue without question? No, there's absolutely no way, right? But I see that there's a 700 hold, and that is definitely a key for me. This makes it easy to both directions, because if I see a downside move under 700, I know this is going to lose it, right? If I see a break and retest to the downside of 700, I'm pretty confident you're going to see downside. I don't think you're going to give up that 700 from this point forward. Giving up that 700 likely brings you down into some of these gaps, right? So be careful of that 700. You definitely want to see that hold. It held last night. If you go to the 5-minute chart, you can see right here, guys. This is last night into this morning. Right here, 700 flat. You can see it held that. So you do not want to see this move if you're bullish. You need to see it hold above 700. That's a must. If you see it break under 7, then you can probably catch some downside. The problem I have here is that, one, I don't know what the market's going to do, and I know that the Nasdaq and the ES are pushing into supply. So am I that bullish on Tesla if I know we're at supply on the overall market? Not really. Two, there's a lot of rejections up here. There's 740, right? There's Tuesday's highs of around 730, another possible rejection point. We have the highs of FOMC, which was that Wednesday, which was 750, right here, right? And then we have the highs of Thursday last week, the wick high, which was around 766. So there is just so many levels here that I need to be careful of. Do I think Tesla just goes through all of them? I can't trade like that, right? I have to be aware of the levels above and make sure that I protect myself on possible rejections. So what do I think the easier trade is? The easier trade, in my opinion, is if the market gets weak, we do a break and retest to 700. I think that's the easier trade, right? If we lose under 700. The more difficult trade, and the trade that I'm going to have a little bit more time, a little bit harder of a time trusting, is the upside through some of these rejection points and into supply on the Nasdaq and the ES. So just be careful of that, guys. I know we all want to be bullish on Tesla. I'm definitely a bullish person on Tesla. I own a Tesla. I love Tesla. But yeah, it's just a little bit, you got a lot of lines to sort of break through here. You know those football things that they run through, like the people that those pads that they run into. It's sort of like what Tesla has here. It's got a lot of those things to run through up here. So that's my best analogy for you. You got a lot of walls to break through here. So just be careful of that. Okay. But I like the retest of 700, right? So watch that 700 retest. Shopify. 350. Big level here on Shop, guys. This is where we held support all in May. I'm sorry, late May, early June. We had that 350 support, right? You can clearly see this. You have a support right here. Support, support, support. A bunch of supports at 350. I got the performance Model Y. Yeah, it's great. I love it. So bounce off 350. This is where we eventually slipped under, right? We slipped under that 350, moved to those big C lows around 300. We're moving higher. You can see yesterday. Look at what happened at 350, right? You can start to see what's going on here at 350. You can see right here. Rejection, rejection. What happens today? What happens today at 350 on Shop? This is definitely a watch for me. If we can really get above 350, if the market can really start to push in the coming weeks, I think Shop above 350 can really get moving. I mean, I could see Shop pretty quickly up towards, probably up towards this 370 and then up towards the 400. If we can get a move on the overall market. That's a big if, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I could see the reason for I could see a reason for the squeeze above 350. That's a major previous resistance point. I'm sure there's a ton of shorts that are going to use this 350 as an entry point and also as a stop loss, right? If we can see a squeeze over 350, then I think it can definitely give you some upside opportunity. But we have to wait to see and confirm that move. We have to wait to see if it can confirm that move above 350. If it doesn't, you could definitely see a rejection here. No doubt. Either way, as you guys know, I like to point out key levels because I know there's opportunity here approaching on Shop to either direction. Okay, Apple. This is big. I think this is probably the biggest, the most important thing for the day. I think the most important thing to watch today is whether Apple can get through 138. If Apple cannot get through 138, if Apple cannot break back above this previous support that has turned into a triple top resistance, if Apple can't get through here, then you do not have much luck on the Nasdaq moving higher, right? The Nasdaq's not going to move higher on an Apple that's rejecting here at this triple top. So this is a must watch. If Apple gets through, if Apple really squeezes above 138, that will be the day that the Nasdaq really starts to move. This is big, right? This is almost everything that you need to see. If you see a move on Apple, like a 3% move on Apple through 138, you're going to get a Nasdaq that's moving. If you get a big rejection here at 138 again, you're going to see the Nasdaq to the downside. So I'm not going to trade Apple because I don't trade Apple options. They're too cheap. You have to buy too many of them. I'd rather just buy shares. I don't really want an expiration on my Apple. So I just sort of watch it as like a market insight. So that's what I'd be watching, right? That's what I'd be watching. That's like the long lasting question. Is Apple pushing Nasdaq or Nasdaq pushing Apple? I'm in the understanding that the Nasdaq is made up of these stocks. So let's say there's an individual move on Apple, it's going to push the Nasdaq higher because the Nasdaq is compiled of tech stocks. So if you get a big move on Apple for, let's say, someone goes out and buys a bunch of Apple, let's say there's hedge funds buying it, let's say they want to, they're pushing it through 138. If there's a big buy on Apple and it's pushing higher, I'm in the understanding that it's going to move the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is compiled of individual stocks. So if there's individual stocks moving, it should move the overall index. Apple is one of the biggest parts of the Nasdaq. So that's my understanding. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. Either way, I'm not that interested. I'm just trading the moves I see, right? Whatever happens, I'll trade it. But that is my understanding of that. If Apple gets through, it should help the Nasdaq. So watch for that Apple push above 138. Yeah, Apple's in the SPY as well, the S&P 500, but it's probably the most major part of the Nasdaq. I think it is the biggest part of the Nasdaq. So it's going to move both. SPY, S&P 500, Apple's in the S&P, but it's definitely a big part in the Nas. ES is in... Apple's not in the ES? Am I just an idiot? I got to look this up now. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be in the ES, no? Yeah, okay. I thought I was... Now you're making me think I'm going crazy. All right, let's continue. All right, Nvidia. Nvidia. Big level here as well, guys, right? So we're pushing up again. We're really not moving much, but we're pushing up again, and you can see the demand here, right? The supply around the 168, 169 level, right? You can see it right here. So what happens on Nvidia today? We're waiting and waiting and waiting to see what occurs on all these tech stocks that are in this channel. The day that we get through these levels is the day that the market is going to probably see some upside, right? The day that we eventually get through these channel highs, if we ever do, not saying that it's a guaranteed, But when we get through these channel highs on all these stocks, stock like Apple, stock like Nvidia, stock like Shopify, right? That's in these channels. A stock like Microsoft, that's in these channels. This is what you're waiting for that upside move. You need to see some of these names through these channel highs. So for now, Nvidia is still sort of sitting in this 169 channel to 155 demand. We can see the 155 demand held very nicely down here, right? It held very nicely, the 155 demand. You pushed higher, you rejected. Here's what I'd watch in the short term today, guys. I would watch yesterday's highs, just like I've been talking about across the board. So what is yesterday's highs? 166.50. That's your short-term demand or short-term supply right there. Rejection, rejection, rejection. So you're getting an early morning rejection. All right, I'll look at jobless claims in a second. You're getting an early morning rejection here on Nvidia at 166.50, starting to move to the downside. All right, not quite getting to that supply above. So interesting, definitely something to note. You can see we're starting to move lower because of it. All right, let's go to the NQ real quick. It looks like damn, this was a great futures trade. Anyone take that short? Probably Sierra. Yeah, well done, Sierra. I'm sure many of you guys in the chat took this short on the future side. Beautiful rejection. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Just gorgeous. But anyways, yeah, so we're starting to get a move to the downside here. Let's pull up the data. Let's look at jobless claims. I mean, nothing it's flat, no? Jobless claims down 2,000. It's all the same. I mean, this is like the same numbers that came out last Thursday. Down 2,000 plus 5K on continuing claims. I mean, market seems to be reacting slightly to that. 830, yeah, it's reacting a little bit to the downside off this jobless claims. Current account deficit 2.9 billion versus seen deficit revised to deficit. So yeah, you got the deficit number higher than expected too. What else we got here? Anything else from? No. Yeah, so jobless claims basically in line. You're getting a little bit of a move to the downside off that, it seems. More important than anything, guys, is this level here, right? More important than anything is the level we talked about this morning. 11.7, the rejection starting to show itself. 11.8 supply above. Do you see this move hold up? Or is this a big bull trap this morning? Right? That's what I'm watching. Do you see a move over yesterday's highs? Or does this sort of slide? What have you seen over the last two trading days, both Tuesday and Wednesday? You have seen upside moves followed by afternoon fades. Upside moves, morning moves, followed by afternoon fades. Upside moves in the morning, followed by afternoon fade. Or does that change, right? You have seen upside moves in the morning, followed by selling off in the afternoon. Does that happen again today? Okay, let's continue. AMD. This is actually quite interesting. This to me, if the market's weak, this to me is a very nice bear flag, guys. Very nice. If you don't know what a bear flag is, I actually created a little visual on that yesterday. If you check it out on my Instagram, I can actually pull it up here for us to read. So we were watching this live on the Nasdaq yesterday in the chat. I was sort of just posting images as this was unfolding. So stages of a bear flag, right? And we'll look at this and we'll see how it's very similar to AMD here on the right side. You can see weak bounce off low volume, making higher lows with the flat, waiting for that flat top to form. You can see step 2, flat top forms. You have those higher lows. The flat top is forming. You're waiting to see if the price action stays below that flat top and starts to move under the trend. You can see here, break of the higher low trend. Entry here on puts would be slightly aggressive because there's a possible fake out back to the upside, but that could be an entry as you lose that higher low trend. And then right here, the break of that low, you can see that flush low, break of that low confirms your bear flag, right? So there's your stages of a bear flag. And we were calling this out as this was unfolding live on the Nasdaq. So we caught this beautifully. There's no other way for me to take screenshots of it, without data. And so you can see just really clean stuff here. Stages of a bear flag. This looks very similar to this, right? You got your flat top potentially forming around 86. You have your upside, higher lows, right? You have declining volume over the last 3 days. You have a little bit of a divergence on the volume side of things. And if this does this, right? If we start to see this and the Nasdaq's weak, this could be a very ugly bear flag. So watch out for this on AMD, guys. This could be a very nice trade if managed correctly. If we start to see that downside, I really like this AMD bear flag setup. We'll see what happens. All right, Microsoft. So here's what I'm sort of bringing up about Microsoft and Amazon. They both have supply around this 254 level for Microsoft. It's right in this 254 area. It's just a weak push. Like you can see, we got through here, rejected. We got through here yesterday, and now we're back down below. So these pushes are very weak to me, and it's really not that. Doesn't really give me much confidence here. So watch out for that on Microsoft. You got a little bit of this upside through supply, but it's really not giving me much strength to believe that this is moving through. This is also a potential bear flag. All right, this is also a potential bear flag. What else looks just like this? Amazon. Amazon has supply at 109.50, 110, right? You can see the bear flag that's potentially forming. You can see how weak it's been when it tries to get above this supply. Look at these weak pushes through. It pushes through intraday and fails. Pushes through intraday, fails. Pushes through in the pre-market, and it looks like you're starting to fail again. So they're getting through, but there's no hold, right? There's nothing like this. There's no hold and continuation here on these stocks, on Microsoft and Amazon through supply. So that's a little bit questionable to me. I don't like that. This would not be a confirmation of upside to me yet. I need to see this continue to hold of these supplies. I need to see a strong close, right? Need to see a strong close. So bear flag Amazon, bear flag Microsoft, bear flag AMD. So interesting, right? Do these break down on a weak Nasdaq? That is what I'll be watching. All right, let's continue. Let's go. I'll go Netflix for you guys because I see you keep talking about it. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful rejection there, right? Same exact thing. Possible rejection, of course, depends on the Nasdaq. Right here, right here, right here, right? Netflix 182.50, very clean. Does it reject, or do you get the continuation through it? That's a key level to watch. All right. Energy. So we know energy's been sort of weak. We can see it's trying to do something down here, right? We can see that it's attempting, right? The straight red has stopped. The straight red downside has started to slow down. So that's a sign. You can see it's starting to slow down. We're starting to get a little bit of green candles here. Here's yesterday's price action. It's not quite enough to make me think that we're ready to turn around. You can see we sort of just stayed sideways really yesterday. But do we start to find a low here? Do we stop falling? Do we stop making lower highs? The first thing that I would be looking for on the energy sector, guys, is a break of 77 on the XLE. Got my landscapers outside. If we can break above 11.7 or 777 on the XLE, previous low into resistance, if you can see this, say hello. If you can see this above 77, then I think you can get the energy sector to start to move higher. That's what you need. Same thing for CVX, it's above 155. For XOM, it's above this 95. So I'm just watching how this unfolds. The XLE needs a little bit of upside confirmation. It's definitely pulled back for us very nicely. Just waiting to see if this can get anything over the next few days. That's my main watch. I'm not trading it here. I'm just sort of monitoring. Do we start to see something back to the upside after this pullback? Okay. Last thing I want to look at with you guys here is the XLV. XLV is the healthcare sector. And you guys can see, let me zoom out here. All right. You can see here in the healthcare sector, we have 118 previous highs into support. Where is it bounced into? It's bounced into the previous support level. Right here. So previous support on XLV was right here around 125. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look where it bounced into. 125. 5-minute chart. Where did XLV start to reject yesterday? Right at that 125. So this is interesting. Go to the hourly chart actually real quick. Let's get some more time here just to sort of illustrate this for you guys. All right, this is a break and retest. Break, retest. Does this turn into resistance on the XLV after this push? Right? Do we get that rejection here at 125? If we do, watch out for the stocks that just made really big moves. UNH, right? UNH just made a huge move into supply. AbbVie just made a huge move into supply as well. So just watch out for that, guys. I know the healthcare sector has been strong, but just be careful that the XLV has just pushed into a previous support and a very possible rejection point. So watch out for that. All right, sweet. That's what I had. Now we're going to have to go quickly through the tickers you guys want to look at. If you guys could just take a second out of your day, press the like button, help me grow the channel, help me get to 50,000 subs, press the like button, subscribe, do all that good stuff for me. That would be greatly appreciated. Let's go into the stocks that you guys want to look at. Let me quickly remove anything we already looked at. We already looked at Nvidia, UNH, Amazon, Shopify, Microsoft, CVX. All right. It's Florida, man. Florida, man, in the rainy season, the grass grows like on a daily basis. It's wild. All right, Gilead. Don't love biotechs. Don't really trade them, so it's gonna be hard for me to do this for you. But 62 resistance, yeah. I mean 62. You got 64. You got 65. You got a lot of resistance up here. But yeah, 62. I would watch to see what it does around 62. Definitely. See if you start to see that rejection off 62. Snow. Actually, I wanted to talk about Snow. Snow had a nice upgrade this morning, guys. Upgrade this morning on Snow. Snow broke through our level. Big time. Like, it got really quickly through it. This is a pretty convincing break on Snow. You guys can see we were talking about this 124, how it rejected. Look at yesterday's move. Wild. Huge move through 124. Just straight through. Held it into close. Upgrade this morning on Snow. So Snow might have a little bit of juice this morning off that upgrade. Just watch out for this 140. That's your next level to watch. Right up here. Watch for your 140. So if you can get above 140, this could actually get going. Or you look for that rejection at 140. So watch for that 124 to hold as support. You want to see that hold as support now, right? You want to see this hold as support if it comes back down. And then watch for the 140 supply above. Datadog. Let's go 4-hour. Datadog. What's it doing? It's just holding this low. Yeah, Datadog's just still holding this low, man. Nothing changes. I know it's probably the same person that puts this in every day. Nothing has changed here. I mean, you can... My only idea for you is that if you think Datadog goes up, you put a stop under 82 if you want to swing trade this. Or you just look for intraday momentum. But I really don't like it down here. It's been on a really heavy downtrend. Maybe it bounces off this demand, this little double bottom. I just don't like trading stocks that are in a serious downtrend like that. It's just sort of hard to get anything going. End phase. Pretty nasty double top there. What's this 200 level? Let me see if I can find where this 200 level comes into play. All right, it comes into play back here. So I would watch for 200 rejections on end phase. You can see it's starting to double top. Look at the double top here at 200. So watch out for the 200 double top on end phase. If you get through 200 and you hold, you can probably move towards 220. But just watch out for that 200 double top. MO, Altria. Yeah, I mean, Altria just got killed because of the jewel removal. All that news that happened. That's really what happened. I mean, I really can't help you on that. That's your best, what you want to do from that is up to you. But that's why it's moving down. News. MSTR, MicroStrategy. This is all dependent on what you think about Bitcoin. Do you think Bitcoin moves higher? If you do, MicroStrategy will go with it as well. Google. So Google, end phase at 10, damn. Google is actually starting to hold up some of these key levels, right? The key level that I'm watching is 22.25. We're holding above it. You can see we're holding above that key level. What's the next level to watch on Google? Right here at these lows, which is where we rejected yesterday, 22.75. Right? And then if you're above 22.75, you probably have a pretty quick shot to that high. There's not much here. The next major level is these support lows and this rejection from yesterday. You can see if we go to the 5-minute chart, where is Google rejecting? Double top right at 22.75. Why is it rejecting 22.75? Well, very easy. Previous lows. Previous lows turning into resistance. You got to get through 22.75 if you want to see upside. Meta, not Facebook. This thing's just been getting crushed, man. I don't know what's going on with this stock. Look at this reject. Oh, that's a nice rejection. Damn. Look at that. That was your trade right there. That's clean. What is that? That right there, my friends, is a break and a retest. That's gorgeous stuff. So I would just look for Meta to reject 160 moving forward. I wouldn't look for upside on that. GameStop, same thing, guys. Still in supply. Wouldn't trade it. If you want to buy calls into supply, be my guest. FedEx. FedEx has earnings tonight, so not going to do that. Good luck on that. FedEx has earnings. I don't trade on earnings. I don't guess on earnings. Adobe, 4-hour chart. Yeah, just watch for this rejection. That's what I'd look for. Watch for this rejection. 385. 385 on Adobe. Watch for that previous support into resistance. Next level on Meta to where? Upside or downside, Chitty? Upside or downside? If you're looking for downside, next level is the COVID lows. 139, 140, right here. Maybe 150 first, and then 140. This is March 2020 lows already. You're basically there. It's crazy. Facebook's trading at March 2020 lows. So to the downside, watch 150, 140. To the upside, I mean, if you can get through 160, which I think is going to be very tough, you got a lot of resistance to watch out for up here, man. I mean, you got 164, you got 165, you got 167, you got tons of levels here. So I wouldn't even try to trade Facebook to the upside. What's the point? What is the point to trade a stock that looks like this to the upside? What are you going to get out of that? All right? Trade the trend. Don't try to trade upside on a stock that's been going straight down since the beginning of this year. It's been going down all year. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you enjoyed the stream today. Press that like button if you do before you leave. Subscribe if you want to stay tuned to more live streams and my videos. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, guys. I post live videos on that Instagram every single day. Almost every single day, I post my live recap videos of my trades. So if you want to see live trades, follow me on Instagram. It's down below in the bottom left, options_insider. Make sure that it's not a scam. I have 10.9 thousand followers. I'll show you what it looks like. Don't get scammed. I'm not gonna email you or message you about Bitcoin. That's not what I do. Let's see if this will. There you go. And you can see my fingernails if you'd like. 10.9, 233 posts. I post live trades on there every day. So check it out. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day. Press that like button, subscribe, and watch the price action today. Don't get trapped into either direction. Wait for the market to give us some insight. What's it doing right now? Let's get a quick update before we head out. Quick update on the Nasdaq for the people that came in late. Let's see. All right, so same thing holds true, guys. 11.7, yesterday's highs. 11.5, downside support. This is your range today. You got about a 200-point range here today, right? There's your 200-point range to watch out for. So rejection 11.7, support 11.5. There's your 200-point range. All right? Very nice, guys. Have a fantastic day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.